Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee was founded in 2014 by Ed and Courtney Lemmix alongside their son, Brett. The delicious DeLuna blends are a product of Ed's discerning palate for the finest coffee beans on the planet, and Brett's business acumen has them on the national radar for quality. Savor the simplicity of Graffiti Bridge. 100% Colombian beans roasted to a city roast for optimal flavor. Ed and Brett are both FSU alums and are extending a special offer to our listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit thelunacoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come on, come do it. Do it. I dare you. Come on, do it. Come explore our world of coffee. Promo code WARCHANT15 gets you a 15% discount at the website. Corey Clark and I work for a website, WarChant.com. More than a website now, though, Corey. Good gosh. We're everywhere, doing everything. WarChant.com. Promo code WARCHANT30. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to that. Thumbs up this video on there. 5-star rating review, all that sort of stuff. Corey, we're here, man. We get to practice later. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're 12 days away now.
Is right. Matt Fryer days away.
Matt Fryer, Thad Busby. We're Abdul Howard days away. It's you can almost taste it, Aslan. You can almost taste the football season.
Speaking of tasting it, I had my first steak in the new house on Monday night. And one of the big things with me getting the house was I wanted to have a vent hood, like the thing that goes above your range or oven to kind of suck away all the smoke and the odor and all that kind of stuff. Because you read all these instructions on how to cook a filet mignon. It's like, put a frying pan at high heat and then sear it for 2 minutes on each side and then throw it in the oven for 450 degrees. I'm like, how do you people do this in New York City with an apartment that's got no windows or no ventilation? Because every time I would cook a steak, Corey, or sear anything, it looked like, Oklahoma 2010 game, just fireworks, smoke everywhere. Couldn't see anything. The whole house would be. No, none of that. This thing just magically takes all the exhaust and just spits it out in my house. So it was great. I loved it.
Man, that's awesome. I'm happy for you, buddy. I really am.
On the flip side, man, your tweet hit me, though, on Monday night, man, about your father, to totally change gears and put you in a corner.
Oh, yeah, that was a quick pivot.
Yeah, man. You want to branch out a little bit? Do you want to talk about what you're feeling, man? That's I can only imagine like the happiness, like when you see Brady do something that just totally reminds you of your father, but then kind of like that bittersweet moment where you're like, dang, man, like I wish my dad could see that right now.
Yeah, so Monday was the 10-year anniversary of my dad dying, and that to me is just what's crazy, is that it's been 10 years. That doesn't even seem real, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have felt this longer than I have, I'm sure, but 10 years, it seems like I can envision where I was when I was told. Like, I was in this house in Tallahassee, I was sitting on the edge of my bed. I'd gotten a call from one of my dad's friends that I never got a call from, and so I knew that wasn't great. And then he told me, and then, you just sit there on the edge of the bed, and to think that was 10 years ago, that was 3,650 days ago, doesn't even seem real. And the biggest, I got whatever I got with my dad, 35, 36 years with my dad. He was a great dad. The biggest, and I know people can relate to this, and will relate to this, is, the thing I lament the most is that my son, Brady, only got 3 years with my dad, and that wasn't that he didn't get to know my dad. He doesn't remember my dad. He was too young for that. And my dad didn't get to see Brady. Like, all toddlers are terrors. So my dad got to see Brady. Now, Brady had a personality and was fun, but he was still 2.5 years old. He had just turned 3 when my dad died. So my dad never got to experience Brady. He never got to really experience his personality, have conversations with him other than, Grumps football or Grumps ice cream. that kind of thing. It wasn't, but that's what I lament the most, is that like they didn't get to know each other, because they would have really, really liked each other. So that's the biggest bummer. Like I got my dad for 35, 36 years, good years, my dad's peak years. But it's really a bummer that Brady didn't get really any of that. So that's the biggest pain of all of it, really.
Well, he got to see a grandson, man, even for 2.5, 3 years. So
yeah, and all my sister
magical.
gave him was a dog. You know what I mean? Like I gave my dad a grandson at least. That's a good point, Aslan. I feel better about that, and he did get it. Like he did get to. I don't think because him and my mom were kind of older grandparents. I think they were 66, maybe 65, 66.
Play a violin for me here. If I had a kid tomorrow, if some random girl was like, "Hey, remember me from 9 months ago?" Their grandparents would.
Is that out there? Is that possibility out there?
You never know. You never know, man. Would be 78 and 70.
Well, yeah. So that's rough too. But it's like I wish looking back, it would have been cooler if I'd have known. Maybe we'd do it quicker. But he didn't. He was to the point where he was 65 or 66. Shannon and I had been married for I don't know. A while, like I think like 3 or 4 years. I think my mom and my dad were kind of not. They weren't even like looking forward to it. They never bothered us about it. Like, hey, when are we gonna be grandparents? Yeah. They didn't really bother us about it at all. I think they were okay. They didn't realize how much they wanted to be grandparents until they were grandparents. Yeah. And I'm sure many people can relate to that. And so he was an awesome granddad. And that he just didn't get to do it enough. That's like I got him for my childhood. I got him for into my college years and into my professional career and all that. He got to see all that and enjoy all that. He didn't get to be a granddad nearly as much as he would have just been an awesome granddad. Yeah. So that's the bummer. It's not about me. I mean, it is. I miss him. It's crazy I haven't heard his voice in 10 years. I mean, that's just nuts. But that Brady really never got to know him.
Did you like talk every day to your dad? Like, would you guys talk every day?
Probably 4 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah. And the night before he died, the night he actually died, we're not sure if he died in the morning. He was in the morning or that night. But he got to hang out with he had just bought a car. So he drove that over to my sister's house and he got to hang out with my sister. I was down here. He was up there. I was in Tallahassee. He was up in Atlanta. So they got to have a really good night as father-daughter, driving the car around and going out to dinner. So that was cool that was his last night. But yeah, I would say we would talk 4 times a week, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And, when I was in Atlanta, we'd visit all the time. It's just I wasn't there all the time.
All right, man. Well, no easy way to pivot to things. We're going to get back to work here literally on the podcast and literally out at practice after taking Monday off. Mike Norvell did have his inaugural call-in show or debut show of the season. Shout out to Austin Cox, jack of all trades for us at warchant.com, who pretty much transcribed all the interesting bits from the call-in show. But we'll get back out to practice on Tuesday, so we'll be there. We won't be able to film nor photograph, Corey, so your eyes, I'll bring the binoculars, are going to be crucial. What are you hoping to see? What do you want to bring back to the good people of Wake Up Warchant and warchant.com after practice?
I want to see a lot of trick plays. I want to see fake punts, fake field goals. I want to see block punts. Everything you want out of a practice. I don't know. It's a hard question to say or a hard question to answer. I think, I think what I'll be interested in is I think now. So we're going to be out there on Tuesday. We are now, like we said, Matt Fryer days away. We're 12 days away from this game. We'll know by now. Like, we haven't really been able to piece. We can make some educated guesses. Like, we know number 11 on defense is going to start. We know that 0, Fabian Lovett's probably going to start. Jamie Robinson's probably going to start. There are some guys that Jarvis Brownlee. We know some guys that are probably going to start in defense, just like you guys do. But I am very interested in what runs out there as the first unit on both sides of the ball. Now, that does not mean we can report to you guys, especially at one specific position, what the depth chart looks like. But I'm interested to see who's worked themathemselves that maybe is a surprise that's working with. I think now when you see, like, I'll be paying attention to who the linebackers are when Jermaine Johnson's on the field. because I know Jermaine Johnson is a starter. So I want to see who's playing linebacker with him in that first unit. That to me is what I'm curious about, because now's the time. And as Adam Fuller said after the scrimmage on Sunday, you know, that scrimmage was like, okay, that was to set the depth chart. Now they're looking to lock in roles, define roles, and give those guys the reps they need to get ready for Notre Dame, because now it becomes Notre Dame prep. You're not competing for positions anymore. Those competitions are mostly over. Now you know, I'm sure there's a couple spots maybe that are still up for grabs, but most of them they know for sure who's starting. So with that in mind, they're trying to get ready for Notre Dame. They want to give them the looks that they're going to see from Notre Dame. We'll have a much better idea of who really is going to be the starting linebacker core, who really is going to be the starting corners, the starting safety. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not sure how much we can tell you of that, because again, we're entrusted with some stuff when we watch at practice. But just for my own personal knowledge, I'm interested in that.
So that you can write, so we can be more educated when we do offer some opinions. So y'all have to learn how to we learn how to read between the lines when we listen to coaches being interviewed. Y'all are going to have to learn how to read between the lines when we talk about maybe who we think is emerging at certain spots, I guess, but maybe we won't make it that obvious. I did find that kind of interesting that Adam Fuller talked about the importance of setting a depth chart after that scrimmage. Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, it's all about subterfuge and keeping the quarterback competition a bit cloak and dagger. I think for me, I want to see who's going to be a quarterback. Obviously, that's probably the most important thing I want to see. And I don't know, Corey, explain to me. So, what am I looking for at linebacker? Because I've written them off, like not in a terrible bad way. I'm just like, they'll be what they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to make this. I don't know if we see a 60-spot jump, how much of it's going to be because of the linebackers. I don't think it would be all that many of it. And if this team spins their wheels on defense, I don't really know how much that's going to be because of the linebackers. So what do I want to see from the linebackers at practice? Like what's going to show us that they're going to be part of the solution this season?
Oh man, I don't know.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, in practice, I don't know that we can say that one way or the other. You know what I mean? I don't know that you're going to see anything in practice that you're like, oh man, okay, these guys are the answer. I think I was going to say the $1 million question, but that's not true. We'll call it the
$64,000 question.
I was going to say the $33 million question because of his number.
Oh,
but Amari Gaynor, I want to see they figure out something to do with him. You know what I mean? Like, Adam Fuller didn't necessarily talk him up as if he's the next Butkus Award winner. And Chris Marv didn't either. When he talked to the media last week, it wasn't. They don't have a lot of glowing things to say about Amari Gaynor, and I don't know if that's because he's just not that good in their eyes, which is it's hard to. Or are they just he's not? There's no role that they've found for him to fit. But there's got to be a way to make that dude, a guy with that physicality, with that length, with that athleticism. So you've got to be able to find a role for him somewhere, because you don't have a lot of Amari Gaynors running around on this defensive team right now. But I want to see where he's running, like who he's running with. Is he first team, second team, third team? Like I want to see that. I want to see what kind of roles they have for him. I would think 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, he might be somebody you unleash to rush the passer. But I don't know. Maybe he's not very good at that. I just think it seems like he's a guy that's kind of been lost in the shuffle a little bit, and I don't know if that's like a challenge, like, hey, Amari, this is it. It's now or never. But I'm genuinely interested in what he looks like and where he's used, how he's utilized in these next 2 weeks of practice. He's the wild card, man. Like I think Deloach is going to play. I think DJ Lundy's going to play. Mm-hmm. Steven Dix, you don't hear a lot about him. They certainly talk a lot more about Deloach and Lundy than they do Dix and Gaynor, which is the exact opposite of how we thought it would be 3 weeks ago. But that's the reality. But I want to know are those guys in the plans? Are they going to start? Are they probably going to start? Are they going to split reps? All that's up in the air. But it just seems like it would be really bizarre for Steven Dix to play as much as he did last season and then not start this season, especially with Emmett Rice being out. And then Amari Gaynor the same way. Like, have they been passed that quickly by two guys that didn't play a whole lot last year? And is that a good sign or a horrible sign? That's what I want to. I'll be paying attention to that in the next 12 days.
All right, look at that, man. I always neglect linebackers. That was good. That was thorough. I appreciate that, Corey. Back to quarterbacks.
And also, Norvell mentioned, what's his name? Is it Cortez Andrews?
Yes.
Okay, like Norvell mentioned him again, and I'm telling you guys, I know he's a Maryland transfer. I don't even think he's on scholarship. He might be, but I don't think so. He wasn't one of the guys they trumpeted as a transfer, but he is a physical guy that Norvell mentioned him by name Sunday night about a guy he wanted to see when he watched the film back, if how he played and if he was as good as he thought he was. If he was as good as Norvell thought he was in the scrimmage, he was interested in seeing how he played. So that's another guy that I think there's a good chance, even though nobody's ever heard his name before around here, that he might actually be, because he's a big kid that's physical, and at least in the practices I've seen, he thumps. Like, he comes and brings it, and maybe he has a role on this team too. It's just that position is so far up for grabs. The only guy that's proven anything at all is the guy that almost certainly won't be playing the first week in Emmett Rice.
I want to see what this Patrick Payton kid's all about. He's kind of come out of nowhere, it seems like. And not to throw like cold water on the Shaheem Brown, Thorpe Award watch list, but I would surmise most of his plays are being made against, the freshman quarterbacks. Still, though, encouraging sign. Not to say he can't make it happen against higher caliber quarterbacks in the middle of an actual game. But I want to see if Patrick Payton's getting to the quarterback against Robert Scott or against Darius Washington, because that's a name that I didn't really think all that much of going into the preseason, and we didn't really hear anything in the first 10 days or so. And it seems like there's some sort of traction there. I know he tweeted a photo of himself, and I think David Johnson retweeted it with all caps, beast. So Yak don't mess around. He wouldn't do that if the kid wasn't a beast. So I want to see maybe
so
coming on.
If we're going to throw Twitter out there, and I'm only bringing this up because you just mentioned his name, did you see what Adam Fuller tweeted on?
No.
I think it was Monday.
Let me pull it up. Go on. Carry on, Corey.
He tweeted, I'm almost positive, you can't quite tell because of the number is a little bit obscured, but I think it's Shaheem Brown. And Adam Fuller just tweeted a picture of Shaheem Brown.
Just a photo.
With, I think it says Nole D, maybe hashtag Nole D.
Yeah. Gliz tagged him twice. Two photos. Well, he did one on the 21st, which is Saturday, and then he comes back and did it late on Sunday as well, of Norvell patting Shaheem Brown on the helmet. Yeah, just Nole D, this guy represents.
What are we thinking there? That's not. It's not, because he also tweets the Operation Takeaway or Mission Takeaway. I can't remember what it is.
Mission Takeaway. Yeah.
Mission Takeaway. It could be Operation Takeaway. Either one.
Why not?
It could be like the George Bush standing on the carrier.
Yeah. Right.
Mission accomplished after they get three picks against Notre Dame. But it's not. He always tweets those after every practice and every scrimmage. He'll tweet the guys that either caused a fumble, recovered a fumble, or intercepted a pass.
I got to ruin it all. I'm ruining it all for you. They're all Mission Takeaway graphics. It's just the way it's cropped. Sometimes it looks like it's just a photo of the dude, but if you actually click on the thumbnail, it is the Mission Takeaway graphic. So,
okay.
Sorry, I ruined
because I was thinking he just decided sitting in his office, I'm going to tweet out a picture of Shaheem Brown with no context. That's how big a badass this kid is. I'm just going to tweet out his picture. Either way, he's tweeted out Shaheem Brown's picture 6 or 7 times at least this month. Yeah. And again, like we said, he had an interception again on Sunday. So, I don't know that he's going to we don't even know how much he's going to play, how many snaps he's going to get against Notre Dame. I think he's a kid by the end of the year that's going to be playing a lot, and I think he will be a starter by 2022, and he could be an all-conference guy by, I guess, 2022, but he might be the next guy. Him and Noles both, really. But yeah, so that was that I thought that was curious, but now you're telling me he just it wasn't a normal retweet.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, they're all mission. It's just they're cropped different way. They're oriented different ways. So sometimes it looks like, oh, he just tweeted Noel D and posted a photo of Cheyenne Brown.
But I had so the Patrick Payton kid. I saw him the first 2 days when he was working with the second group. He really stood out. Like, he was a guy that second group could not block.
See, I thought George Wilson did. Like, I saw George Wilson flash, but I don't remember seeing Patrick Payton flash. But carry on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, he to me he did. He got like in the backfield 2 or 3 plays in a row multiple times when I watched him. But I have not seen him go up against Robert Scott or Brady Scott or DLT. I haven't seen that, so I don't know how he dominated. When I saw him, he was just much too quick for the second unit or the third unit, whoever he was going up against in those second practices. But I have not seen him really a whole lot against this first team. But yeah, that's another guy that I would like to see, because the way they talk about him, again, it's not impossible for a freshman defensive end to make an impact. Brian Burns had 10 sacks as a freshman. I don't know that Patrick Payton's Brian Burns. Probably isn't. The guy's a first-round pick. But you can make an impact at defensive end as a freshman. He's not going to have a bowl-wear type season. But he could be a guy that could maybe give you they could work himself into the second guy behind Jermaine Johnson. And you're not going to want to play Jermaine Johnson 95 snaps a game. So you got to build some depth there. And maybe Patrick Payton is a guy that's working himself, even as a freshman, is working himself into the rotation.
All right. Those are things to look for sure. I can't wait to get back out there. Quarterbacks.
All right, that sounded sarcastic.
No. Well, I mean, the good thing is, I don't know, Ira, if you're listening to this, I'm probably not going to be there at 9 a.m. I mean, I don't have to be there. I can't film, so I just got to be there for the end of it. But I can't be there for the end of it because I got a contractor coming over. So maybe I should be there early to make a good impression. Nonetheless, quarterbacks. As we were talking about in the roundtable, you, myself, Ira, Tom Lang, Jeff Cameron, which, by the way, 3 of those aforementioned 4 gentlemen will get together and do a live podcast at 1 p.m. on Warchant TV. May have heard of it. It's called Seminole Headlines. Do check that out. Talked a little about quarterback, obviously, as we kind of hit the halfway point in the preseason. And going back, it's funny, like listening, I really wish I would do a better job of actively listening during these interactions. But I'm just kind of like waiting my turn or just, producing and popping up graphics, so I'm not able to really dial in. But it's just funny to hear Jeff. Like Jeff knows how to diplomatically say things that are, it's kind of wry and funny to me, I think. But just as we talked about quarterback and who's practicing, who's not practicing, and just ultimately it's just not ideal. I mean, you can make this, I guess, you can make lemons into lemonade, which I guess we could say that's what Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham are doing by having to deload these guys. They're creating a little bit of mystery and keeping Notre Dame on their heels. I think that's a legitimate thing. It could possibly help. But Jeff was saying this is not ideal to not have, whoever you're going to run with available every single day. Are we going to look, hopefully we won't look back on it. Hopefully they do beat Notre Dame and everything is just full steam ahead. But it's not ideal, Corey. How much of the concern going to the Notre Dame game, how much of a difference can it make? Will we lament, Monday when we're doing the podcast? God, I mean, won't that be the killer of this all? If it's a 31-28 game and you're kind of thinking to yourself, man, if only these guys would have been good the whole time. Or you can't control. You got to control what you can control. And if the guy's not ready and he's not healthy to practice every day, then he's not. You can't really, cry over it.
Yeah, I mean, yes, essentially. What can you do? If they're not out there, they're not out there. If they're not getting all the reps, they're not getting all the reps. I think, again, these 2 weeks are the crucial ones. Honestly. I mean, still, theoretically, there's a competition, I guess. And even if there isn't, we're not going to be told one way or the other. But this is when you start game planning. So it's not like you're missing, like Jordan Travis last year didn't prep for Georgia Tech at all. I don't even know if he went through if he was at practice for those weeks leading up to Georgia Tech. We know Chubba was out with his shoulder injury, and Jordan Travis was hurt too. So, like, how many reps were they getting preparing for Georgia Tech? None, I would imagine. Now, these next 2 weeks are where you're getting the reps to prepare for Notre Dame. And so whether you didn't play, whether you get a ton of reps the last week or so, I think, there's 4 weeks. If you miss a week, I still think these next 2 weeks are the most crucial. I don't even think that's obvious. These 2 weeks are the crucial ones to game plan, to get ready, to get in sync with whoever the starters are going to be on the offensive line, whoever the starters are going to be at wide receiver. That's what these next 2 weeks are for. So I don't really feel like you missed a ton, even if you didn't get a ton of reps the second week of preseason camp, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think these are if you're going to miss a week, or if you're not going to play a ton, if you're not going to get a ton of reps within a week, that wasn't a bad one, right? Like, you need these 2 weeks are the crucial ones when you're a quarterback. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it plays out. I don't think it's the end of the world for a few days or a few reps to be missed here or there, especially because you are talking about experienced guys. Now, it's a different offense for McKenzie, and Jordan, Jordan just hasn't gotten to practice. Didn't get to practice a ton last year. And that's a big deal. Like, he got to play in the games, but he got to practice a lot. Like, I think him getting most of a whole preseason practice is a really good thing, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. Like, that Jordan Travis is out there getting reps a lot of the times with probably the ones. That does not mean he's going to be the starter, but clearly he's in the race for the starting spot. So when he's out there, he's practicing mainly with the ones. I think that's a good thing that he gets 2 weeks to do this. And McKenzie Milton, hopefully the same thing. We'll see here this week what's going on with that. But either way, again, I'm going to reiterate, you feel much better about the quarterback position going into this season opener than you did last season opener, because you're much better in that room than you were last year. And my man Chuba might be the real deal now. Let's not sleep on him. I don't think he's in real competition to compete for the starting spot against Notre Dame, but I think he's going to play this year, and we don't have any idea how this shakes out, but maybe he's even the starter going into 2022.
Maybe he's the X Factor. Is he the can we call him the X Factor? I'm going to call him the X Factor. Chuba's
how many X Factors do you get on one team?
One on each side of the ball.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Jared Jackson's no longer the X Factor. Dennis Briggs is the X Factor.
Okay, right.
So the quote, this is transcribed by our own Austin Cox during the Mike Norvell call-in show on the quarterbacks. Being able to add a guy like McKenzie Milton, who is such an incredible story, really be an example to the young quarterbacks. Jordan Travis has been night and day since the first day we got here. The confidence it shows, the consistency he shows with his arm in practice, it's exciting. Purdy, Rodemaker getting better every single day. They compete with each other, uplift each other. So that's where we're at. Like McKenzie Milton, incredible story, great example. Jordan Travis, night and day, confident. He's consistent with his arm, shows every day in practice. Read in between lines for that one. What I do want to, last thing before we roll out Trench Talk to complete the podcast. Strong show. We're like 30 minutes in, believe it or not. Crazy. I agree with you to a certain extent that these they're in a much better position. I agree with you totally. They're in a much better position overall at quarterback because of another year of Chuba and Tate getting reps in practice, especially the last 2 weeks, so the amount of reps they got with the ones. McKenzie Milton is an X factor, possibly. I don't know if I believe that Jordan – I don't know. You tell me. We'll talk about it tomorrow when we see Jordan hopefully practicing. I don't know. Can we talk about him practicing particularly? I still don't know what I'm supposed to see from Jordan Travis that makes me think that he's much improved. I do believe he's more confident. He does carry himself differently. I do believe that. Now, I don't know if he's completing passes any more efficiently than he was in practice last year or in game situations. The whole thing with him having the edge on McKenzie going into the summer was that I just thought McKenzie played so poorly, for lack of a better term, until the spring game pretty much, that Jordan just didn't lose it. Like, Jordan was like, all right, like, one of you go out and win this job. Neither of them, in my estimation, went out and took the job and won it during the spring. I just think Jordan did a better job of standing pat and not taking a step back. I am curious to see this strong praise that he keeps getting about the consistency, his accuracy's next level. I want to see that kind of manifesting itself, because at this point, when I see him controlling the one offense, he's had good moments. Absolutely, he's had good moments, and he's also had inconsistent moments, up and down moments, which most every quarterback's going to have over the course of practicing through preseason. I get that, but I just don't know if it's going to be. Why would it? I would imagine that's what he did last year. I mean, when you play as up and down as he did, I imagine that's the way you looked when you practice. So I want to see something consistent from him, 24 periods, because these 2 weeks matter. So go ahead and now don't just simply hold on to the job. Take it, bury Mackenzie Milton, in a nice way,
figuratively.
Yes, but go, man. Not for me. Do it for your team, man. Let's make this happen. Let's figure this thing out, Jordan. Put it to rest, man. Put it to rest, please. I'm rooting for you. I want to win. I want to go to a good bowl game, Corey Clark.
Yeah, look, it's just hard to know what Jordan Travis is. Like, we didn't get to see. He was hurt a lot of the year last year. He was banged up. He was working with not a good offensive line, with no receivers. He didn't get to practice with them for a lot of the week. He got no preseason practice with any of those guys, and then he's thrown into this season. And again, we've said this before, but literally there's a chance Florida State would have been 0-9 last year without him. Like, they could have lost the Jacksonville State game. They certainly lose the North Carolina game. They might have lost the Duke game. I mean, they gave up 35 points. Like,
wow, yeah.
he was the reason they won any games at all.
Is that a new talking point right there?
No,
I've never heard. That's legitimate, though. I mean, like, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I
wow.
said that at the time that if he doesn't come in and save the day against Jacksonville State, because Rodemaker wasn't getting it done, they lose that game, and then they're not beating North Carolina. I mean, anyway, so Jordan Travis was almost a one-man show for what he can do at quarterback last year. Like, he's not going to throw for 400 yards, but that being said, none of us can know how much he's grown as a passer. Like, we can watch what he did last year at times, especially on like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, and say to ourselves, okay, he just can't get it done on certain passing downs. Well, man, how many quarterbacks look good on 3rd and 9 in their 4th career starts with the people he was operating with on the side of the ball with him, with a new system, with new coaching staff? Like, he was thrown into a really impossible position. I have no idea how good Jordan Travis can be. I mean, there is a chance he can be an all-ACC first-team guy. There is a chance that his ceiling was last year against North Carolina. I have no way to know. I think he has a chance to be an all-ACC caliber player. I just do. I think if he can stay healthy, he throws the ball well enough, and he's an exceptional athlete. So he's got that going for him. So, but the crux is we're so, and I'm guilty of this more than anyone. We always want to kind of label somebody as what they are after a small sample size. Now, I know Jordan Travis wasn't a true freshman last year, but he had started exactly 0 games in his career until last year. He had no experience playing quarterback at the college level, none. And for him to come out and actually get thrown into the fire like that and perform like he did, that's not normal. I think that's a really good sign of what kind of player he might be. But maybe what we're seeing with him running around, making guys miss, occasionally hitting a dude with a nice throw on the run, maybe that's his ceiling. I feel like there's more in there. I feel like there is a guy that can convert on 3rd and 8 with a pass to the tight end over the middle in a tight window. I think that guy is in there, but I don't know that for sure. I do expect him to be better than he was last year, though. Like, that's what happens. That's just how college athletics normally works. The guy has 5 starts in his life, right? Like, maybe he started 5 games last year, 6. 5. He started 5 games last year. So we can't decide that he just can't throw the ball based off 5 starts. You just wouldn't do that. Christian Ponder was not a good quarterback throwing the ball in 2008. Go back and look at those numbers that Christian Ponder had. And that was with Jimbo Fisher as his quarterback's coach. And Rodney Hudson was blocking for him, for crying out loud. The guy threw for over 200 yards once in 2008. And then lo and behold, in 2009, he's an incredible passing quarterback. I'm not expecting Jordan Travis to make that kind of jump. But it's easy to just label people and put them in a box and say this is what they are. And I don't know that we should do that after 5 starts. He might have taken a significant leap. Has he in practice? I don't know, Aslan. What do you think? I mean, he hasn't overwhelmed us with his passing in practice.
But
he also doesn't get the luxury of anytime somebody's near him in 11-on-11, they blow the whistle. Yeah. Well, in a game, they're not blowing the whistle. He's going to make that defensive tackle miss, and he can roll out, and then let's see what he can do. I mean, I just don't think we have any idea how good Jordan Travis can be. Again, I'm not saying he's going to win a Heisman. He might not even be All-ACC. He might even start. But we have no way of knowing through 5 starts and through one 2-week preseason what kind of quarterback he can end up being, what his ceiling really is.
Yeah, if it all comes together, it's scary good. If it all can come together, it would be scary good. And to your point, another luxury that he's lacking is that he hasn't had a consistent offensive line in practice this entire preseason either. No quarterback has. I mean, they've been mixing and matching, and I think a lot of guys they're relying on haven't been available. As Ira said diplomatically, some of the older guys haven't been practicing as much as some of the younger guys. That's going to be like the go-to line, I think, moving forward here because it's pretty subtle. Which, by the way, the conspiracy theory, Aslan, we didn't ask Norvell about whether or not McKenzie scrimmaged on Sunday. I don't think we really even know. But Kenny Dillingham said that the older guys, like he said older guys, plural. So everyone was like, oh, that means McKenzie practice. But I think Geno English is technically, he could be considered like an older guy. And he does practice, Geno English. So I'm like, my conspiracy theory is like, ooh, he's not lying. He's saying that, the older guys, anyhow. That's what I lose sleep over at night.
Well, I don't even understand. Are you saying Geno English is in the run-in to start?
No, but he didn't. The question wasn't like, how are your guys that are competing for the starting job looking? It was like, how are the quarterbacks?
Oh, I see. So he could technically say, yeah, I'm talking about the older guys.
Yes, by including Geno
English. Yeah.
Yes, it gives them cover. And then we're like, oh. But hey.
Right, and technically he's not lying.
Exactly.
It's like Bill Clinton with it depends on your definition of what the word is.
Yeah.
That's a long folks, that was 25 years ago. Hey, how about that? Like my dad passed away 10 years ago. Lewinsky Clinton, that was like 23 years ago. How old are we?
We're getting old.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Although Geno English is a redshirt freshman. I just feel like he's been around forever.
Oh.
Because I remember
then that didn't even apply. He can't call Geno English an older guy then.
Well,
redshirt freshman
season.
Doesn't apply.
Well, it's third year, though.
Basically Chuba and Tate.
Third year, though, man. He went to El Paso, man. He's seen things. He lived the 2019 season.
You're right. Yeah, he lived that El Paso life.
So. All right. Again, we will be at Practice Tuesday. We will try to provide some observations on warchant.com. We'll come back and do a podcast for you as well. And then at 1 o'clock, you don't have to wait for observations, really. Corey's going to break it down. Hopefully he'll steal the show. Don't let Ira box you out, Corey. I'm sick of it. I've been going back, listening to the shows. I've been writing notes about ways you can get involved and kind of box out Jeff and Ira and get your points back in. So let's work on that. Let's take more of that show, okay? Let's take more of that. I think
you talking about headlines?
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you watch the first episode, my big fat neck is right in the camera lens in that first show. I think we're moving the camera a little bit so you get to see all 3 of us equally, and you don't have to see my neck rolls in the back. So I'm excited about that.
Can't wait. Everybody get involved next Monday as well. We should be having our 3rd edition of Trench Talk. That's the Q&A. We take all your questions and we pose them, tee them up for Devontay Love Taylor live on YouTube. We'll be doing those on Mondays. We did it yesterday, so we'll leave you with that. And a reminder, Wednesday, live edition of this podcast, also on YouTube. So headlines, then a podcast, then Jeff Cameron, then us live, then more Jeff Cameron, and then Ira, and then everything, and recruiting chats. Rocket ship to the moon, this website, everybody.
All the Norvell press conferences,
yes.
The player press conferences, assistant coach press conferences. Warchant TV and the warchant.com is where you need to be really for the next, 4 to 6 years of your life.
Okay.
Right? I was going to say 4 to 6 months, but that's not true. Then we roll into basketball and baseball. So just stay on Warchant TV and warchant.com for the next 4 to 6 years. Then we'll regroup, and we'll see where we are after that.
Yeah. Stay right here. Here comes up Trench Talk with Devontay Love Taylor. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Jameis Winston. Hell of a night on Monday. Went 9 of 10. Very Pittsburgh-esque. 9 for 10, 123, and 2 touchdowns. QBR, or rather a rating of 157.5. So maybe he's got himself a starting job. Let's go, Jameis. And now, again, here goes Trench Talk, Devontay Love Taylor. From the ultimate Seminole sports source comes another original live content production. Trench Talk with Devontay Love Taylor. You bring the live rounds, he'll bring the pancakes. And now, number 58 in your programs, but number 1 in your hearts, here's the man of the next half hour, Devontay Love Taylor. What's up, y'all? There he is, Devontay Love Taylor. He's on the other side of the wall here at the Midtown offices. What's going on, Devontay? How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. So you had a day off, I guess. Was it an actual day off? What was your Monday like?
Just a bunch of rehab and taking care of my body and hydrating, getting ready for the next couple weeks.
What's rehab like entail for you? Is it massages? Is it sitting in an ice bath? What does it take to get your body right?
Everything: massages, cold tubs, hot tubs, Theraguns, lasers to warm up, game readies to cool down, stretching, yoga, anything to make you feel good.
I mean, listen, I couldn't hold up to the rigors of playing football, but man, they know how to make you guys take care of your bodies and keep yourselves healthy. So glad to hear that's going well. How did things go last night for you and the guys? Nothing, and you don't have to give us any details, but how did you feel walking off the field off Doak Campbell last night from that second scrimmage?
I felt good, and I felt like the team performed really well, and it just felt good to be back in Doak and get ready.
We're like 13 days away, Devontay. Can you feel it?
I can feel it. We're excited.
There we go. All right, man. Right on. Well, let's turn the questions over here to the folks on the Tribal Council, warchant.com. We'll start with Japinol. He wants some inside scoop, which we're going to punt on, Japinol. We're going to try to do our best to keep things on the low so these boys can perform at their best on September 5th. But he was wondering, what's the one thing you think this offensive line needs going into the season?
To be honest, I just feel like we need support from everybody. The past couple of years, it's been really hard on the O-line, especially before I got here. And, it's always great to have support. We're gonna hold up our end of the bargain. We're gonna do what we have to do to make sure we're successful. So all we need is support from the fans and everyone else around us.
All right, there we go. Hey, we'll transition there to we'll go back to the Tribal Council. This is our guy Ralph. He's from Tallahassee, Devontay, but he actually is a Marine who went out to Hawaii, and he's been in Hawaii for like 23 years now. So he says, aloha, how's it? Points out that, the experts have not been giving the Florida State offensive line a lot of high marks, but you and Dylan are here, and he appreciates the fact that you guys transferred in. So he asked, his question is, what message of hope can you give the fan base that the future of the offensive line is on solid footing?
I can say be very hopeful. We have a lot of young guys, especially with the COVID year giving everybody an extra year of eligibility. You got guys like Maurice, who I think technically is a freshman this year, and he's played a lot of games. Darius, I think, is technically a freshman again. Dante Lucas is technically a sophomore. You got guys like Lloyd Willis, Rod Orr, Robert Scott is a freshman again. And then plus the recruits that are currently committed. The future is very bright. And I think after this year, there's only 2 of us that graduate. So
yeah, man, lots of good talent. Right. Lots of good talent on the Florida State offensive line. Coach Atkins also a real good asset for this program right now. Let's turn things over to YouTube. We'll go to Octavio. He asks you, Devontay, do you have a game day trend or something you do the day of the game to hype you up?
I'm not really much of a hype up guy. I like to be calm, especially playing O-line. You have to see a lot of stuff going on, and it's not always good to be just like very anxious and high energy. I usually like to calm down because naturally the nerves are going to be up. So I do whatever I can to like mellow out and just focus on what I have to do. And I wouldn't say a routine because, we play at different times. Sometimes every week you play in different locations. But normally if we play a late game, you just watch the early games and relax and just do what you have to do to get ready.
So do you get butterflies still, or are you pretty like level the entire time, or can you feel like the anxiety as you get closer to kickoff?
Yeah, I'll say I get butterflies. I've played a lot of football, and sometimes before games I feel like I've never played a snap. But that's part of just loving the game. I feel like, if you don't get nervous before it, then I don't think you need to be playing. Or if you don't get excited, I don't think you have true love for the game.
No doubt. All right, let's go to Dan Squatch. He asks Devontay, who on the defensive line has the biggest arsenal of moves? Don't tell us the moves, but who's got the most in their toolbox, would you think?
I'd have to go with Dennis Briggs. He's very versatile and he can play probably anywhere on the D-line. Plus, combined with his size and speed, he probably Dennis Briggs, yeah.
Coach Norvell was saying really good things about Dennis here, I think, yesterday, and Coach Fuller kind of underscored it. What kind of camp have you seen from Dennis? He seems to be coming on pretty strong.
Phenomenal. He's gonna wake up a lot of people this year.
All right, no doubt. Ooh, this is a good one right here. This comes from Terry Boyd. What's your favorite flavor of Powerade? I'm a yellow guy.
I like the purple.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it gets me.
All right, man. No doubt. Taking your questions here on Trench Talk. Hit that thumbs up button showing that you like this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's in the lower right corner underneath Devontay. Hit that little bell and set your notifications for however frequently or infrequently you want to be reminded of videos that drop here on our YouTube channel. Got some email ones I'm going to pop up here too for us, Devontay. This comes from Joseph. Says you weren't always a big dude. Did you play other sports growing up, and was football always your favorite?
I played basketball, and basketball was my favorite sport. Then I realized I wasn't going to be 6'8" or 6'9", and I wasn't the fastest. I couldn't really jump the highest. So then, I kind of shifted to football, and you couldn't be as physical in basketball. So, but if I had to play another sport, it would be basketball.
Who's the best basketball player on the team? If you had to get 4 other guys to run a game on a court in Tallahassee, who are the 4 guys on the team you'd pick to be on your hoops team?
Pokey Wilson.
Okay.
Let me think. Got to go with Jordan Travis. Surprisingly, Dante Lucas can play basketball. It doesn't look like he can. He can. He's a hooper. Let me think. Mackenzie Milton.
Okay, the quarterbacks. All right, the quarterbacks, and then you and Dante on the post. Yeah. Okay.
And then for my big, I don't even know what I'd have as my big. Kier Thomas can play a little bit. Just because that's my guy, I'll rock with him, and I feel like we have the chemistry. We'll be able to get it done.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Sammy Lance asks, what's your Chipotle order?
All right, so we go brown rice, black beans, either chicken or steak, depending on the day, fajita veggies, hot salsa, corn, cheese, guacamole, and sour cream. No lettuce? No lettuce.
Oh. Burrito or bowl?
Bowl.
Ooh, I gotta have a burrito. All right. Watching that svelte figure of yours. All right, that's good stuff. Noel Yakin asks, I don't know, has school started? He asked, how was your first day of class? I don't even know if school started or not, Devontay.
It did. It was good. I just had a little discussion post. You just got to introduce yourself. The first week's always the smoothest.
Very nice. Let's see here. Bensi says all top to try to pop something else up. Sanders says, what's it like working alongside Bavion? He has so much experience in the program.
It's great working with Bavion because he's been through 3 coaching staffs, and he can just tell us like when we're going in the right direction and when we're not, because he's seen from where the O-line's been from 2016 to now. And it's great seeing like where he's seen the direction of the program go to where it's going, and he can really tell us like, no, we need to do this. I've seen this before and it hasn't worked, and stuff like that.
All right, let's hop back to the Tribal Council, warchant.com. This comes from Northwest Florida boy. Devontay, do you think you would be better or about the same if you had been coached for 4 years by Coach Alex Atkins and Josh Storms in the strength and conditioning program?
That's hard to say, just because, I've learned so much from Coach Atkins and I've developed so much under Coach Storms, but also I developed a lot. I learned different things and developed differently under my previous staff. So it's hard to say if I would have been able to continue growing by staying at the same place as 4 years, or if me coming somewhere else developed me even more.
Right on, man. He also asked, what position on the offensive line do you think you project at the next level?
I would say as a center or guard. I'm a good-sized guy, but most of the tackles in the NFL are around 6'6", 6'7", and I'm not 6'6" or 6'7", so probably inside.
Okay. Speaking of the inside, let's go back to YouTube. And Dan Squatch says, every good guard has a story about catching somebody on a pulling play. Ever catch somebody napping?
Yeah, in high school, I was playing right guard. I remember we were playing at Land O'Lakes, and we ran a counter, and a kid didn't see me coming. I knocked his helmet off, and I thought it was the coolest thing because you don't see that happening often from O linemen.
What did the play go for? Was it a big play?
I believe so, and it was really exciting because they knew when I was pulling every time, and they would point it out, and they still couldn't stop it. We had a good team, so
nice. Eric asks on YouTube, Devontay, what are some of your hobbies that you have off the field?
I like to play basketball. I'm not much of a video game guy. I love Netflix shows. I'm watching Friday Night Lights right now for like the third time. I love it. I don't have many hobbies, I love football. I like to try new food places, and I like watching sports.
Your roommate's a big gamer, though, huh? Is Brady going to be okay not being able to game, or is he going to find somewhere to get his?
He's going through it. I think he went fishing today to make up for it.
Nice. All right, let's see. Let's keep it rolling here. Mr. No Blooded says, "What do you guys do after a big win, either home or away?"
It depends on the person. If my family's in town, I'll go just hang out with my family, enjoy it, hang out with them. Some people like to go out and celebrate. It just depends because the next day we have workouts and meetings and stuff, so you don't want to be too tired for that. Because, you can enjoy the win, but you got to focus on the next opponent. You can't enjoy it too much.
No. Jason Sanders, you said that everybody on this offensive line could sure use some support. The whole team could use some support from the fan base. Says that we believe in you as a team. Win or lose, you're all behind you. Have fun and enjoy the moment as young men. Go Noles. So
we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, Jason. Very nice. This is Gator Kirk, but again, as I think I said last week, Devontay, he's a big time diehard Florida State fan. He lives up in Virginia. He just happened to wrestle alligators when he was a young man. He says, "Thank you for doing this." Mr. Love Taylor asks, "What's your major?"
So I got my bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in criminal justice, and I have my master's degree in criminology. And right now, I'm working on getting a coaching certificate.
Okay. Are you going to come for my job? Like you want to be on it? Maybe some broadcast journalism, perhaps after your career on the Gridiron's done?
Yeah, broadcasting or coaching. I haven't really decided yet, but just something in sports.
Okay, I think it'll work out for you, man. I think it'll work out for you. Let's take another email here from one of our folks, Knowles93. He signed it. Says, if you could pick one famous athlete to have dinner with, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. This is a hard one. Does it have to be like retired or current?
Anybody, man, past or present.
You got to go with Michael Jordan. You can't pass that up.
Okay.
You just got to hear that mindset. I don't know if you watched The Last Dance, but just hearing him speak and like his leadership and his will to win, I want to know everything.
We had nothing to watch last summer, right? Because of the pandemic. We all watched The Last Dance. Like, was there a watch party with the team? Was there some of you guys that got together for that?
I got with a couple guys and we watched it, but nothing crazy.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to Sanders here. Says the tight end room seems to have turned the corner this offseason, especially with Jordan Wilson getting healthy. How important is good tight end play to the offensive line success?
It's very important. Sometimes we're doing combos, blocks with those guys. They help us in pass protection, and the whole room's grown. Jordan, Cam, Wyatt, Preston, Kobe, all those guys. They're really coming along and they're really helping us out.
All right. Let's see here. Let's hop back over to the Tribal Council, warchant.com. This comes from Kurt. It says, Devontay, without mentioning any names of your previous coaches, what does Coach Atkins teach that differs from previous offensive line coaches you've had in the past? Or maybe how does his teaching style help you and your offensive line mates improve and learn? I guess how would you maybe describe Coach Atkins' style?
So Coach Atkins, he doesn't coach everybody the same. He learns your personality, and he won't teach me the same thing he's teaching a freshman just because I'm more developed and I've been through more, I've played in more games, and he'll teach me more tools or he'll teach me more things I can pull out of my toolbox than he will a freshman. You know, like whether it's something complex, whether he's teaching freshman base stuff and I'm learning more advanced stuff.
He also seems to, I mean, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but he seems to walk like a really nice line between like tough love, like good cop, bad cop kind of stuff. I mean, does that seem like a pretty accurate assessment of him being able to kind of get on you guys when he has to, but also kind of put his arm around you when that calls for it as well?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He never attacks you as a person. He just attacks your actions. Like if you mess up, he's going to let you know you mess up and he's going to move on. He doesn't want to dwell on because he wants you to focus on the next play. We're very big on next play mentality. So once you mess up, he tells you what you did wrong, and then he's like, all right, get it fixed. Focus on the next play.
Well, let's go to Beast 3517 asks, does the outside noise during the season motivate you, or do you just ignore it?
I tend to just ignore it, because at the end of the day, we're not going to win or lose based off the outside noise. We're going to win or lose based off what's in the locker room. So we just got to make sure the locker room ignores it and we handle our business.
Sammy Lance says, tell Cam McDonald to keep uploading stuff on YouTube. So he's entertaining people.
I'll let him know.
Let's go to this one right here. This comes from George out in Tampa. Thanks for doing this, Devontay. Big fan of Trench Talk. Friend of mine says the referees could realistically call holding on every play. Is that true? And how do you avoid getting flagged?
I wouldn't say on every play. As long as you keep your hands inside, you'll be fine. And then one of the tough parts is when a quarterback goes to run and you don't know he's running, and they go to run away from you, and you might get caught getting extended and get called for a holding. But I wouldn't say every play. The refs got good eyes. They know when there's a holding.
Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Get down or lay down. How many out of 10 one-on-one matchups would you win versus 1989 Odell Hagens?
I'm going to go at 0 just in case he's watching.
Smart man. Dan Squatch asks, who of the linebackers do you not want to see come on a blitz?
I like me, but to be honest, if I had to pick any of them, it would be DJ Lundy or Steven Diggs. They're young, but they're built different. Those guys, those are some grown men.
Yeah, DJ Lundy is country strong, like through and through, man. That kid's something else.
Yeah.
This is Trench Talk. This is the second edition. We'll be doing these on Mondays as the season starts up here. It's a Devontay Love Taylor, offensive lineman for your Florida State Seminoles, taking your questions here on YouTube as well as Twitter and warchant.com's Tribal Council. Do hit that thumbs up button, support the show, hit the subscribe button underneath Devontay's screen there in the lower right side, and we'll try to pop up your questions as they roll in through here. We'll be going to about the bottom of the hour, so we got about 15 minutes or so left on here. So we'll be taking more questions, and we got even look at this. You're gone international, Devontay. We got Tony in London, England, man. London, England.
Thank you for tuning in.
You ever been overseas anywhere, Devontay?
I have not.
All right. Well, when you make it to the NFL, maybe it'll be one of those teams that ends up going to London for a game every year. So that'll be pretty cool. Let's see what we got going on over here on the Tribal Council as we do that. Let's pop up another question from Sanders. Sanders is bringing in all the strong questions here. Almost looks like a Netherlands flag. Maybe he's in Holland. Who knows? He says, Coach Dillingham seems like tons of fun. Do you have any good Coach Dillingham stories?
Not any good stories, but he's a great coach, and he's very personable too. Sometimes he'll just come into the O-line room and we'll just talk protections with the quarterbacks, and he's a great dude to be around. He always has energy every day at practice, and he's going to be a great head coach one day, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Man, he's got the energy. So Sammy's asking, I think we talked about this last week, but what NFL team would you want to get drafted by? All of them. I know that's the generic answer, but is there like one uniform you think you might look a little bit better in than the rest?
Right now, no, but growing up, I was a big Panthers fan and I always wanted to play for the Panthers. But right now, whoever would draft me, I'd be grateful.
No doubt. Sammy also asks, what's your favorite uniform combination of the Noles?
I like the blacks. I haven't gotten to play in them yet, but they're so clean, the all black.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of the black ones. I'm white top, garnet pants. I think that's the cleanest look. But that's I'm in the minority on
the most slim. So
okay, makes sense. Let's see here. Terry asks, is there a pro offensive lineman that you look up to?
I I wouldn't name one in specific. You know, when I watch the film, there's a lot of guys that stand out, like Quentin Nelson. He's just a dog. You get guys. I like watching like old tape, and you see guys like when Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday were together, just their communication and how he was running the offense just as much as Peyton Manning was. His knowledge of the game, and he was an undersized guy, and he's probably the best center of all time. So just looking at guys like that.
Have you ever played center? Like, have you ever been pressed into duty and having to play center, whether it was like Pee Wee or up to high school or anything?
Not in game, but I've practiced some at center before.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. I can see you calling it out, man. Like Omaha, 55's the mic, 55's the mic. I can see it, man. I can see it. Let's see here. Beast 3517 asks, what are some of your on-field and off-field goals this season?
On-field goals is just to play my part. If no matter what position it is, just do my job every play so I can be the best for the team at that time. And then off the field, it's the same, be the best leader and set the biggest examples I can so I can be the best for the team.
All right. No doubt. Good stuff. Good goals to set, Devontay. Briley asks, what is the number one aspect of offensive line communication that you think you guys have improved upon as a unit?
Just understanding like what's going on, like understanding the plays like fully, not just running them, but really understanding them, understanding where the ball's going, and understanding like our leverage, and plus identifying fronts. We've improved crazy. Like there's been a lot of improvement, especially getting a full year with Coach Atkins and a full offseason. It's been improved a lot.
All right. Well, this kind of maybe piggyback off what we were just talking about, but Adebanje, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, man. I got a tough name too, so it's all good. How do you feel the team has progressed this offseason?
I think it's progressed tremendously. Like I said, we got a full year in with the whole staff. Also, like the offseason, we became a lot closer. We did a lot of team bonding, and it's just been great. And we have so much more buy-in now. Like everybody that's here is bought in to Coach Norvell, and it's going to be something special.
Ooh, I like this one. I'm glad I can pull the questions up so I can pick the ones I like and then skip the ones I don't like. Dominic asks, why does the offensive line stay still when there's a potential offsides penalty?
Because you get a free play, and let's say like you snap the ball and everybody moves but the O-line and he throws a touchdown. But if we move and we risk getting a holding call, then the penalty's offset and there's no touchdown.
Okay. I've never thought about that, and it totally makes sense now. Okay,
so
all right.
Everybody but the O-line moves.
Because, yeah, that'd be the worst thing, right? Like, they jump off sides, you throw a touchdown, but then one of your guys, like, gets a hand on a face mask, and you get a – okay, there we go. Dominic, you asked. Devontay answered. Now we were all better for it, man. Awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Jay asks, who are some of the hardest guys to block on the defensive line?
All of them bring a different aspect. Coop's a big guy. He's hard to move. Fabian's a big, strong guy. Briggs is elusive. Kier's strong. Jermaine's long and athletic. All those guys, they're different. D-Mac, he's very athletic. Quayshawn's big and strong. They all bring a different type of, like, style. So, especially when they rotate, it's hard because you got to switch your mindset to how you're going to block them.
All right. Here's a question from Rooney Knoll. Is there a difference in your approach depending on what quarterback you're blocking for? Keep up the good work. Go Noles.
I wouldn't say depending on the quarterback, but depending on the play calls is really what it's based off of.
All right. With that said, back to Sanders. What's your favorite play to have called? Some inside run? Do you like inside run, like play action? Like, you want to get in pass pro? What do you like?
My favorite play is when he sends the offense on the field and tells us to take a knee because we won the game.
There we go. That is the correct answer, man. Gator Kirk's back with a good question, too. So we saw Shaheem Brown in an orange jersey, but making plays. We saw Dennis Briggs in an orange jersey, but making plays. Coach Norvell says that, he still holds everybody accountable. So you can get the orange jersey for, other things off the field. What do you do to get out of the orange jersey? Not that you've ever had to wear it, but do you know how you get out of the orange jersey?
It's just a one-time thing.
Okay.
You get out of it right the next day, as long as you handle everything you need to do and do your accountabilities.
Dan Squatch asks, is there any sort of mentor program within the offensive line group, like little brother, big brother? Do you have a little that you kind of take under your wing?
I wouldn't say that, but the older guys, especially now, we have like a good mixture of older guys and younger guys. And I wouldn't even say older and younger guys. I'm gonna say guys that have played and guys that haven't yet. And it's just like, when a freshman comes in, if they're eager to learn, they kind of seek you out and they're like, hey, can you go over this with me? And then, when you start talking to them, you kind of just want to show them the ropes and let them know, like, especially like with camp, this is going to be one of the hardest things you've had to go through. You're going to be tired, sore. You're not going to sleep much, but you're going to have to be physical every day. So you kind of just take them under your wing on your own, depending on the people and who it is. There's not really like a big little system.
All right. Right on. This question comes from Twitter. It's Tiggity11 asks, who eats the most out of all the offensive linemen?
Robert Scott.
Really? My guy Bob Scott.
Yeah. I took him to McDonald's one time and he spent like $28 just for him. And I was like, wow.
Dude, he says that he has McDonald's 3 times a day.
I wasn't sure if it was for one meal or if he was just like saving it. But like, and Rob's the nicest dude in the world. He's like ordering all this food and he's like, and it's like, it's this hotel. He's like, oh, do you want something? I was like, nah, bro, I don't know if they'll have any food left, to be honest.
Oh, man, he's the best, man. I love that guy. So you can maybe pass the baton to him. Maybe we'll do Trench Talk with Robert Scott next year. Ben C asks, how much film do you watch a week during the season?
I can't really put like an hour on it, but you watch film before practice. You watch film on your own, to study your opponent individually, and then you watch film as a group, just so you make sure you and your group are on the same page. And then you watch film with the running backs and tight ends and quarterbacks, just to make sure all the communication is on point.
Kelvin asks, I think we might have talked about it last week, but if you could play any other position, what would it be?
Running back.
Okay.
I think I got good vision. I feel like a running back sometimes when I pull around and I see a hole and I'm like, if I had the ball where I want to go, and I kind of just treat it like that.
All right, let's see here. Eric Angel asks, does the quarterback, Devontay, tell you when the ball is snapped, or left guard or right guard tell you to snap the ball like in the NFL?
It depends. It depends on the situation, where we're playing at. It's a little bit of everything.
All right. Let's go Buffalo 1. Again, we're taking all your questions here on Trench Talk with Devontay Love Taylor. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got maybe about 4 or 5 minutes left here on the show, so do get those questions in as we pop them up on the screen. Ask you, Devontay, let's go Buffalo. What's a tattoo on your left arm, and what does it stand for?
On my left arm, I got a bunch. I got a full sleeve, but the main one right here in the front, it says my brother's keeper. And that's just like my mindset. I'll always take care of my brothers, not just my blood brothers, but my teammates too. Whenever they need anything, I want them to feel like they can call on me, and in any situation, whether it's football or life.
What was your first tattoo and how old were you?
I was 18 and I got these little lines right here. You can't really see them. They say faith and family.
Okay. What was your parents' reaction?
So my mom, I asked her permission, of course. I was 18 and I was like, I'm going to go get a tattoo. If you don't want me to, let me know and I won't. And she didn't believe I would, because she didn't think I had a high pain tolerance. And then I came back with one. And then she was like, oh, you're not going to be able to get any more. And then fast forward a couple years later, I got a full arm sleeve. And
so it really is addicting, right? Like, you can't just get one tattoo. That's what they say.
Yeah, I thought that was a lie, but it really is. Once you fill up like a certain part of your skin, it's like only coloring half a page in a coloring book. You like, wow, I only colored half. I might as well finish the rest.
Good metaphor. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jane Newsom. She's a longtime Florida State fan and usually posting here on our YouTube channel. Jane asks, Devontay, has the team picked out a motto for the season yet?
We have one motto on this: climb.
Every time. So every year it's always climb.
Climb, commit to the climb.
Okay, there we go. Let's see here. DF asks, how much do you bench now versus last year?
When we maxed out this year, I benched 405. Last year, I think I hit around the 355, 365 mark.
Is there a difference? I mean, can you feel that? Does it translate to a football field, like in your position when you are able to press more?
Yeah, like when you strike somebody, you can tell like their body movements based off your strike. Like if you strike them hard, they kind of like jump back a little bit. But if they're just as strong as you and you hit them and they don't move, then you're like, oh, okay, they got something to them. You might have to find another way.
Let's go to Jay Jackson. Outside of Florida State and football, what do you like best about living in Tallahassee?
The hospitality and the people. I lived in Miami for 4 years, and it's like complete opposites. Miami was really busy. There wasn't a lot of Southern hospitality. And then coming up here, it's like night and day. There's not much traffic. All the people are very personable. They know who you are, and they treat people well up here.
Okay. Let's see here. Get Down or Lay Down asks, who's the guy that watches film like they're playing 4D chess? Who's got the real good eye for breaking down film?
Let me think. Maurice Smith has a real good eye for film. Dylan Gibbons has a real good eye for film. And then our whole room's developing it. Like it's crazy. Sometimes we're just in room and everybody, as soon as there's a question asked, everybody knows the answer.
All right, here we go. Ed Lemix of DeLuna Coffee fame says, how much weight have you gained this year and how do you feel?
I've gained about 6 or 7 pounds and I feel good. I feel like I'm moving around good, and I'm just ready to put all the work on display, just like everybody else.
All right, there we go. Maybe take another last question or two. Again, don't forget, this is Warchant TV. Hit that thumbs up button in the lower part of the screen and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be doing these throughout the season with Devontay on Monday afternoon. So mark it down in your calendar to make sure that you're around here for this stuff. Let me make sure we got everything off the Tribal Council and Twitter. We got somebody here that's saying they were excited. I think Florida State 23, Notre Dame 13. So you're already generating a lot of buzz and excitement from the fan base doing this right now. And let's see here. King Spleen, let me pop him up on here, asks, how do you linemen earn tomahawk stickers?
Pancakes, touchdown leading blocks, stuff like that. Just doing your job and excelling at it pretty much.
Can you do stuff off the field? Is it strictly on the field that gets you tomahawks, or there's stuff that you can do off the field to get it?
We haven't gone over like the process off the field yet, but I'm sure there's going to be ways.
Okay. All right. We did it, man. Another trench talk in the books, Devontay. We still have a bunch of questions coming in, but hey, our guys, he's got to get ready for a pretty important game 13 days from now as Florida State takes on Notre Dame to start off the 2021 season, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. We got plenty to talk about before then. They'll be back at practice tomorrow. Don't forget, podcast drops with myself and Corey tomorrow morning. Jeff Cameron, 1 to 3 o'clock. Or, sorry, Seminole Headlines on Tuesdays from 1 to 3. Devontay, hey, man, we really appreciate the time, and let's keep doing these.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, and hey, by the way, you might bring some friends on next time, possibly, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure which ones, but we'll have a couple guests.
Okay, awesome. For Devontay, I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.